Do you believe in ghosts? Are the stories about haunted schools just myths, or could they be real? From being just a normal student, I experienced strange phenomena at these schools. Join me as we explore chilling tales, the ghost of high school, nightmare at Blackwood High, and the ghost's breath. Do you have what it takes to face your fears? Your own fears. Story 1. The Ghost of High School. In 1997, I was a freshman at Northgate High School, an old and mysterious school located in the suburbs of Seattle, Washington. The school, built in 1912, had thick brick walls, dark rooms, and a history shrouded in mystery. I always felt like something wasn't quite right about the place. The first time I felt uneasy was on a Friday evening when I stayed late to rehearse for a class play. The night had fallen, and the wind howled through the creaky old doors. Only I and 2 close friends remained at school. We were rehearsing on the stage when we heard light footsteps in the hallway. We thought it was the teacher coming back to check on us, so we didn't pay much attention. But the footsteps got closer and then stopped right next to the stage door. We quickly peeked through the vent, hearts pounding. No one was there. "It's just the wind," one of my friends said, trying to stay calm. But the footsteps continued, this time moving around the room, and then they vanished as if they never existed. Frightened, we rushed out of the school, unwilling to stay any longer. From then on, strange noises started occurring regularly at school. The sound of children laughing echoed from the corners of rooms when no one was there. Soft whispers came from the bookshelves as we searched for books. Doors slammed shut in the practice room, even though no one was inside. I didn't believe in ghosts, but these eerie phenomena made me feel deeply uneasy. I often saw faint shadows gliding past the corner of the room when the lights flickered. But when the lights came back on, there was nothing there. Rumors about the school began to spread. People said the school was haunted by the spirit of a girl named Emily, who had taken her own life in the physics lab in 1940. They said she still appeared at the school, and anyone who saw her was haunted by fear. At first, I didn't believe those rumors, but after seeing Emily's ghost in the mirror of the girls' bathroom, I couldn't deny the truth any longer. I tried to learn more about Emily, about her death, and why she haunted the school. I read old school records, searched for information online, but nothing could explain what was happening. I felt very unsettled, and I knew I had to do something to help Emily's spirit find peace. I decided to try contacting her, to ask her to find peace. I wrote a letter to her and placed it on the desk in the physics lab where she had taken her life. In the letter, I told her I knew about her death, and I wanted to help her find relief from her suffering. I begged her to forgive everyone and to find peace. After writing the letter, I felt a bit lighter. I believed that Emily's spirit would receive my message. However, the strange occurrences at the school didn't stop. The sounds, the ghostly apparitions continued as if nothing had changed. I felt very disappointed, and I didn't know what else to do. I began to wonder if I was losing my mind. One Friday evening, as I stayed late again for play rehearsal, I once again heard the light footsteps in the hallway. This time, the footsteps were clearer, coming right to the stage door. I peeked through the vent, my heart racing. This time, I saw a faint figure standing there. She wore a beautiful white dress, her long hair flowing smoothly, and she was smiling gently. I knew it was Emily. She was staring straight at me. I was terrified, but I tried to stay calm. I said, "Emily, I know who you are. I want to help you." Emily didn't respond. She kept staring at me, and the smile on her lips grew wider. I felt deeply unsettled and didn't know what to do. I only knew that I had to do something before she did something worse. I looked through the vent again, and I saw something that made me jump. It was a silver ring, tarnished and lying there. I picked up the ring, holding it in my hand, my heart pounding. I knew it was Emily's ring. I turned to look at Emily. She was still standing there, but the smile had disappeared. She was now staring at the ring in my hand. I said, "Emily, this ring belongs to you, doesn't it?" Emily nodded softly. I said, "I will help you find peace. Trust me." Emily nodded again, then faded into the air. Holding the ring in my hand, I felt a great sense of relief. I knew I had helped Emily find peace. I went to the spot where she had taken her life, placed the ring down, and said, "Rest in peace, Emily." After that, I never saw Emily's ghost again. The strange sounds in the school also disappeared. The school returned to normal as if nothing had ever happened. I still remember Emily, and I am always grateful that I was able to help her find peace. I also know that there are always spirits haunting this world, and we need to listen, understand, and help them find peace. However, I always feel like something is still hidden within this school, a secret that I can never know. I know that there are things that cannot be explained, and there are spirits that cannot be set free, but I still hope that one day the truth will be revealed, and the spirits haunting this school will finally find peace. Story 2. Nightmare at Blackwood High School. In 2003, when I was just 16, my family moved to the small town of Blackwood in rural Pennsylvania, where I began attending Blackwood High School. The school, with its Gothic architecture, thick brick walls, and foggy, stained glass windows, gave me an eerie feeling from the moment I stepped inside. In fact, the sense of unease had started when I first read about the school online. There were plenty of rumors about strange events happening there. People talked about the echoing footsteps in the hallways at night, the ghost of a blonde-haired girl who appeared in the music room, and a teacher who had died in the history classroom. At first, I brushed off these stories as mere myths, tales fueled by curiosity. But when I started experiencing strange things at school myself, I began to have doubts. On the first evening I joined the drama club, we were rehearsing the play Romeo and Juliet on stage. The vast room with its heavy black velvet curtains made the atmosphere feel oppressive. Suddenly, the sound of children giggling echoed from behind the stage wings. I turned my head but saw no one. "Is someone playing a prank on us?" a club member asked. But the laughter continued, becoming louder and clearer. We felt chills down our spines and quickly left the stage, too afraid to stay in the dark room any longer. After that, the strange occurrences continued. I often heard heavy breathing right next to my ear, but when I turned around, there was no one there. I saw dark shadows darting across the room when the lights flickered, but when I turned them back on, there was nothing. One time, I was in the library searching for materials for a presentation. The room was quiet, with only the sound of pages turning and the steady ticking of the clock. Suddenly, a book fell from the shelf with a loud thud. I quickly turned around, but no one was near the bookshelf. I no longer dared stay alone in the library and hurried out of the room, my heart pounding. The rumors about the school grew even more frightening. People spoke of a teacher who had died of a heart attack in the history classroom. It was said that his spirit still haunted the room, and students who had taken classes there often heard him giving lectures at night. The first time I sensed the presence of that teacher was in the evening when my friends and I were doing homework in the library. The room was quiet, with only the sound of pages turning and the clock ticking. Suddenly, a strange noise came from behind me. I turned around and saw a tall, thin man, dressed in a black suit, leaning against a bookshelf, staring directly at me. Terrified, I ran out of the library, but when I looked back, that figure was still there, watching me with cold, hollow eyes. From that moment on, I always felt uneasy when I was alone at school, especially at night. I often dreamt of the ghost of that teacher, with strange questions and vague threats, causing me to wake up in a cold sweat. I told my friends about these experiences, but they just laughed, saying I was either paranoid or being influenced by the rumors. I tried to learn more about the school's past, about the strange stories that circulated. I searched the internet and went through old books in the library, but all I found were disjointed pieces, impossible to put together. I began to suspect that there was some hidden secret about the school, something people were trying to conceal. One evening, while I was in the library, I stumbled upon an old, torn-up leather journal hidden in a dusty corner. It belonged to a former student named Emily, who had disappeared 50 years ago. In the journal, Emily wrote about strange dreams, about ghosts that appeared in the school, and about a horrifying secret she had to keep. As I read those lines, my heart raced, my head spun. Could the spirits haunting the school be connected to Emily's disappearance? I decided to dig deeper into Emily's life and disappearance. I scoured the internet and sifted through old documents in the library, but everything I found was fragmented, with no clear connections. I started to believe that there was a secret involving Emily, one that had been hidden for decades. One evening, while I was in the library again, I caught a glimpse of a faint figure with long blonde hair standing in a dark corner. The figure resembled Emily from my dreams. Frightened, I ran out of the library, but when I looked back, the figure had vanished. I decided to confront the strange happenings I had encountered. I was determined to find the truth, no matter how dangerous it might be. I contacted a local historian who had researched the history of Blackwood High School. He told me about a mysterious event that occurred 50 years ago. He also told me about rumors regarding a teacher who had exhibited strange behavior and had been accused of sexually assaulting a female student. The teacher had been fired from the school and later died in a car accident. I asked him if there was any connection between that teacher and Emily's disappearance. He shook his head, saying there was no evidence linking the two events. But I believed something was being covered up. I decided to investigate more about that teacher, about his life and death. I searched the internet and old library records but found nothing. One day, while wandering through the town cemetery, I stumbled upon the grave of that teacher. I walked closer, staring at the headstone, and felt a chill run down my spine. I looked at the headstone, reading the inscription, "John Blackwood, a distinguished teacher." Suddenly, I remembered an old photo I had seen in Emily's journal. In the picture, Emily stood next to a man, and that man looked very much like John Blackwood. I rushed back to the library, searching for Emily's journal. I flipped through the pages and found another photograph. In this one, Emily was tied to a chair, and John Blackwood stood beside her, wearing a sinister smile. My hands shook. Could John Blackwood have killed Emily and hidden her body somewhere? I decided to report what I knew to the police, but they didn't believe me. They thought I was paranoid or being influenced by the rumors. Desperate, I didn't know what to do. I started having dreams of Emily, begging me to help her, to free her from her suffering. I chose to believe Emily. I decided to help her find the truth, to help her find peace. I returned to the school, and this time I was no longer afraid. I was determined to uncover the evidence of Emily's disappearance. I searched the school thoroughly, from the dark rooms to the abandoned areas. Finally, I found a small room, hidden in a remote corner of the school, locked and unused. I felt a chill run down my spine, knowing that this was where Emily had been kept. I found a way to unlock the door and entered. The room was dark, dusty, and smelled of mold. A cold energy enveloped me. I saw an old wooden chair tied tightly with black ropes. A sense of dread filled me. I knew that Emily had been held captive here. I searched the room and found an old wooden box hidden under the bed. I opened it and found a silver ring, identical to the one I had seen in my dreams. I held the ring in my hand, and a faint light glowed from it. I felt a warm energy surge through my body. I knew that this was the proof I had been searching for. I decided to bring the ring to the police. This time, they didn't doubt me. They began investigating Emily's disappearance and John Blackwood's involvement. In the end, they found evidence that John Blackwood had killed Emily and hidden her body in the school. The truth was finally revealed, and Emily's spirit was freed. I felt relieved, knowing I had fulfilled my mission. However, I also knew that Blackwood High School held many more secrets, and I would always be vigilant about what I saw. Story 3. The Breathing of the Ghost. In 2008, when I was just 15 years old, my family moved to a small, peaceful town on the outskirts of Denver, Colorado, and I began attending Westview High School. The school, built in 1905, had old red brick walls, dark hallways, and spacious rooms that always radiated a gloomy, mysterious atmosphere. The first time I stepped into the school, I felt a chill down my spine, as if some force was watching me. In fact, that unsettling feeling had started when I read about the school online. There were many rumors about strange events that had occurred there. People spoke of footsteps echoing in the hallways at night, the ghost of a dark-haired girl appearing in the music room, and a teacher who had died in the chemistry lab. At first, I dismissed these as mere tall tales, stories woven by curiosity. But when I began experiencing strange occurrences at school, I started to doubt. On the first night I attended drama club, we were rehearsing Hamlet on stage. The vast room, with its heavy black velvet curtains, made the atmosphere feel oppressive. Suddenly, a gasp sounded right next to me. I jumped and turned my head, but there was no one there. "Is someone trying to scare us?" a club member said. But the gasp continued, growing louder, as if someone was right behind me. We felt a chill and hurried off the stage, too frightened to stay alone in that dark room any longer. After that, strange events kept happening. I often heard the gasp right by my ear, but when I turned around, there was no one there. I saw a shadow flicker across the corner of the room when the lights flickered, but when I turned the lights on, nothing was there. I didn't dare stay at school alone at night, always seeking safety in the noise of crowded classrooms. Once, I was in the library looking for materials for a presentation. The room was quiet, filled only with the sound of flipping pages and the steady ticking of the clock. Suddenly, a book fell from the shelf with a loud thud. I quickly turned around, but there was no one near that shelf. I didn't dare stay in the library alone anymore and rushed out of that room, my heart racing. The rumors about the school grew increasingly frightening. People talked about a teacher who died of a heart attack in the chemistry lab. It was said that his spirit still haunted that room, and students who had been there often heard him conducting experiments at night. The first time I sensed the presence of that teacher was one evening when my friends and I were doing homework in the library. The room was quiet, just the sound of turning pages and the steady ticking of the clock. Suddenly, a strange noise came from behind me. I turned and saw a tall, thin figure in a black suit leaning against the bookshelf, staring at me. I was terrified and ran out of the library. But when I glanced back, the figure was still standing there, watching me with deep, cold eyes. From then on, I always felt uneasy being alone in the school, especially at night. I frequently dreamed of that teacher's ghost, with strange questions and vague threats, waking me up in a cold sweat. I told my friends about it, but they just laughed, saying I was paranoid or influenced by the rumors. I tried to learn more about the school's past and the strange stories people shared. I searched for information online and flipped through old books in the library, but everything was just disjointed pieces that couldn't be put together. I began to suspect that there was a hidden secret in this school, a secret that people were trying to keep buried. One evening, while I was in the library, I stumbled upon an old notebook with a torn leather cover tucked away in a corner. This notebook belonged to an old student named Emily, who had gone missing 50 years ago. In the notebook, Emily wrote about strange dreams, about ghosts appearing in the school, and a horrific secret she had to keep hidden. As I read those lines, my heart raced and my head spun. Could the spirits in this school be connected to Emily's disappearance? I decided to dig deeper into Emily's life and her disappearance. I searched for information online and sifted through old records in the library, but it was all disjointed pieces that couldn't be assembled. I started to suspect that there was a secret related to Emily. A secret people were trying to hide. One evening, while I was in the library again, I caught a glimpse of a faint figure with long blonde hair standing in a hidden corner of the library. The figure looked just like Emily from my dreams. Terrified, I rushed out of the library, but when I turned back, the figure had vanished. I decided to confront the strange occurrences I had experienced. I chose to seek the truth, no matter how dangerous it might be. I contacted a local historian who had researched the history of Westview High School. He told me about a mysterious incident that had occurred 50 years ago. He explained that Emily, an outstanding student, had mysteriously vanished one day. Her family searched everywhere but found no trace. The case had become an unsolved mystery. He also recounted rumors about a teacher who exhibited strange behaviors and had been accused of sexually assaulting a female student. He was expelled from the school and later died in a car accident. I asked him about the connection between that teacher and Emily's disappearance. He shook his head, saying there was no evidence linking the two events, but I believed that something was being hidden. I decided to learn more about that teacher, his life, and his death. I searched for information online and sifted through old records in the library, but found nothing. One day, while wandering through the town cemetery, I stumbled upon the teacher's grave. I approached it, looked at the tombstone, and felt a chill run down my spine. I looked at the tombstone and saw the inscription, "John Westview, a distinguished teacher." Suddenly, I remembered an old photo I had seen in Emily's notebook. In the picture, Emily was standing next to a man who looked very much like teacher John Westview. I hurried back to the library, searching for Emily's notebook. I flipped through its pages and found another picture where Emily was tied tightly to a chair, and John Westview was standing beside her with a haunting smile. I trembled, unable to believe what I was seeing. Could it be that John Westview killed Emily and hid her body somewhere? I decided to report what I knew to the police, but they didn't believe me. They thought I was paranoid or influenced by rumors. Desperate, unsure of what to do, I began dreaming of Emily appearing in my dreams, begging for help to escape her suffering. I chose to trust Emily. I decided to help her seek the truth and find peace. I returned to the school, this time without fear. I was determined to search for evidence of Emily's disappearance. I searched all over the school, from dark rooms to abandoned areas. Eventually, I found a small room hidden in a secluded corner of the school. This room was locked tight and unused. I felt a chill run down my spine, knowing this was where Emily had been held. I found a way to unlock it, and finally, I entered. The room was dark, dusty, and smelled of mold. I felt a cold wave enveloping me. I saw an old wooden chair bound tightly with black ropes. A wave of fear ran down my spine. I knew Emily had been held here. I searched the room and found an old wooden box hidden under the bed. I opened the box and saw a silver ring, identical to the one I had seen in my dream. I held the ring in my hand and I noticed a faint light emanating from it. A warm energy coursed through my body. I knew this was the evidence I had been searching for all along. I decided to bring the ring to the police. This time, they no longer doubted me. They began investigating Emily's disappearance and John Westview's involvement in the case. Eventually, they uncovered evidence proving that John Westview had killed Emily and hidden her body in the school. The truth was revealed, and Emily's soul was set free. I felt relieved, knowing I had fulfilled my mission. However, I knew there would always be hidden secrets in this school, and I would remain vigilant about what I witnessed. Thank you for watching today's story. I hope these chilling experiences have made you reflect on fears and trust in life. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on more engaging stories and interesting content in the future. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.